everybody, this is a video for English Challenge 1 for this week. What I need you to do before you watch this video is make sure that you have watched me reading the first 12 pages of Little Red and the Very Hungry Lion, which is the book we're going to be using over the next few weeks for our English work. So you need to click the link in the description on Seesaw before you watch this video for me. Okay, so once you've done that, come back to this video and I'm going to show you how to write some instructions. Right, now you've read the story so far, I just want you to have a little think and a little reflect about it before we actually get on with our writing. What story is this really similar to? So have a careful think. And it should be quite obvious that so far it seems quite similar to Little Red Riding Hood, but there's a few key differences. There's differences in the setting of the story, because in Little Red Riding Hood, the story's set in the woods in England, but in Little Red and the Very Hungry Lion, the story is set in Africa, and it's set across a savannah because she's walking past all of those animals. Also, the characters are slightly different. Yes, we've got Little Red and Little Red Riding Hood, but instead of a wolf in Little Red and the Very Hungry Lion, we've got a lion instead. So it's going to be a similar story, but it's set out a bit differently with a few key differences. Okay, and this is sometimes called a twisted fairy tale, because it's based on a fairy tale that we all really know well, but there's a few differences, and that's what this is an example of. So I hope that you're going to enjoy this story, because I know we all like the story of Little Red Riding Hood, and we're going to get on with some writing. Okay, so our job for English this week is going to be to help the Very Hungry Lion, and I know that the Very Hungry Lion is not a nice character, but we're going to help him, okay, just this once. So he had a very clever plan, or so he thought, to help him to gobble up Little Red. So I'm going to put an image of that here across the video so you can have a look at it. So he thought that he drew out his plans, and it's a bit like a set of instructions because it's got some of the features that instructions have. It's got imperative verbs, which are the words that show us what to do, and it's got numbers to show the order to do things in. But we know how to write instructions better than this. So what we're going to do is we're going to write him a letter, and we're going to show him how to set instructions out properly and put them into a more detailed set. If you want to, you can change his plan a little bit if you think that you've got a better plan for him. It's your choice, but I'm going to just use his plan and I'm going to change it into a proper set of instructions, and I'm going to add some more detail as well. So you're going to need to use the word mats and the resources that are attached to English Challenge 1 for this week. Okay, so let's get started with our writing. The first thing we need to do, because we're writing this in a letter to the Very Hungry Lion, is we need to make sure that we've shown that it's a letter, and we need to address who it's for. So I'm going to start by writing Dear. I'm trying to use my neatest handwriting, even though it's quite tricky, especially when we've not been in school for a while, but it's really important that we practice that. Dear Very Hungry Lion. Okay, then I'm going to put a comma to show that's the end of that line and go on to the next one, and I'm going to tell him why I'm writing to him. So what I'm writing for is to give him some proper instructions which will set out his plan more clearly and more detailed. So I have noticed that you need some help. I have noticed that you need some help with your instructions. I am an expert because have learnt about this in school? And then I'm going to put one more sentence. I hope it helps you. Okay, so I've explained why I'm writing to the Very Hungry Lion, and I've explained that I'm going to be giving in some more detailed instructions. So now I'm going to get on with the actual instructions, and I'm going to put my title, which is something that all instructions need to have. So my title is going to be How to Gobble Up. And I like the word gobble instead of eat, which I have magpied from the book. But that's okay, that's something that we should be doing to get better language. How to gobble up little, oh, that's not great handwriting, I hope you can read it. How to gobble up little red. And I don't have a ruler available, so I'm going to have to try and draw my line as carefully as I can. There we go. And we need to underline it to show that it is the title. And we'll need to do that for some of our subheadings as well. So I'm going to keep glancing down here because I've got my word mat in front of me, which is what you need to have as well. So I'm going to start my instructions with a question. So I'm going to think, have you ever wanted? Would you like? Are you fed up of? Isn't it time to? I think I'm going to start with, isn't it time to? Isn't it time to get a tasty snack? Isn't it time isn't it time to, I'm not going to use eat because it's a bit boring, and we've already used gobble. Isn't it time to devour? And I've just seen that on the word mat. A tasty. In fact, I'm not going to just put that. I'm going to say, isn't it time to devour the tastiest snack of your life? So I'm making it sound really delicious. Okay. Isn't it time to devour the tastiest snack of your life? If you want a treat, then follow these instructions. Isn't it time to devour the tastiest snack of your life? If you want a treat, then follow these instructions. Fantastic. Right, I'm happy with that. I only need a couple of sentences for my introduction. So now I can get on with the what you will need list. Okay, so I've written my subheading, which is what you will need. So again, I need to underline this to show that it's important and it's a subheading. And the reason that we do this is that if someone has already read it and they just want to quickly look back over what they actually need to be able to do it, then they can clearly see where the subheading is. Okay, now there's not actually that many things that I'm going to need for my plan, because I am just going to use the lion's plan, but I'm setting it out better for him. So I'm only going to need a large cupboard, and that's what he's going to hide Auntie Rosie in. I'm going to need a pink spotty dress, and that's so he can look like Auntie Rosie. He's going to need a hairbrush. I'm going to say bristly hairbrush. And finally, he's going to need some hair bows. Oh, hair bows. So he can make his hair look really pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to write the heading instructions, and this is the bit where we're going to write about what we actually need to do. Okay, so again, I need to underline that so it's clear for the reader where the instructions actually start. Okay, so we know that when we're writing instructions, we need to use numbers to set them out. I need to make sure that I'm using imperative verbs, which shows the word, which are the words that show what you actually need to do. I need to make sure that I'm using fronted adverbials, which are words that go at the start of the sentences to show the order. And I want to use plenty of expanded noun phrases, adverbs and some conjunctions as well. And all of these things you can find on your word map. So do make sure that you're looking at that while you're doing your writing. Now we're ready to write our instructions. The first thing that we need to start with for each one is the number. So obviously we're going to start with number 1 first of all. So I need to first of all use a fronted adverbial. So that's the time word that tells us the order. So I'm going to use the word first because it shows us that we need to do it first. First, sneak off. To Auntie Rosie's. I'm using my possessive apostrophe for Auntie Rosie's because it's her house and it belongs to her. First, sneak off to Auntie Rosie's house, but, so I'm using a conjunction, be careful that nobody spots you. I've used the word spots because I think it's a bit better than sees and I want to use interesting verbs. So first, sneak off to Auntie Rosie's house, but be careful that nobody spots you. So I've got fronted adverbial and I've got my conjunction. And I've also got my imperative verb, which is the doing word. So I've got the word sneak. That shows you don't just need to walk, you need to actually sneak. So no one sees, you've got to be really quiet. Okay, number 2. The next thing that the line needs to do, I'm going to use the word next. And I'm going to use an adverb this time because he's going to put Auntie Rosie in the cupboard and he needs to do that quickly because she might escape if he doesn't. So next, quickly, hide her in the cupboard before, that's a good conjunction to use, the word before she can escape. So you'll notice that my sentences that I've used are fairly similar to the ones that the lion did for his outline of his instructions, but I'm extending them and I'm adding more details. That's what I'd like you to do as well. Number 3. After that, I'm trying to use a different adverbial each time and I'm trying to make sure it makes sense. Disguise yourself as Auntie Rosie. And I'm going to show him how to do it. So, after that, disguise yourself. I'm not going to write as Auntie Rosie. I'm going to say disguise yourself in the spotty dress. And then I'm going to do commas in a list for all the things that I need to use. Disguise yourself in the spotty dress. Brush your mane. I'm not using the word hair because we call a lion's hair, it's mane. And put the hair bows in neatly, because we want him to look really neat and just like Auntie Rosie, don't we? Okay. Number 4. Next. I'm going to use the word next. Oh no, I've used next already, so I'm going to use then. Then is going to wait. So that's my imperative verb, the thing that you need to do. Patiently, which is an adverb. Wait patiently until Little Red arrives. Wait patiently until Little Red arrives. So I've got my adverb patiently, I've got my conjunction until, and I've got my imperative verb wait. Number 5. And I'm going to use next this time because I've already used next after that and then, and I can't really think of many more, so I'm going to go for next. Jump out of the cupboard. Next, jump out of the cupboard and gobble up Little Red. Poor Little Red, I hope his plan doesn't work. Next, jump out of the cupboard and gobble up Little Red. And number 6, last but not least, I'm going to use eat Auntie Rosie for a mouth-watering pudding. Eat Auntie Rosie for a mouth-watering pudding. Great. Right, I'm going to have a look back through my instructions and just check that they all make sense. I'm going to highlight in my sentences the imperative verb, the adverb if I've used one, and the conjunction. So I'm going to do my imperative verbs in blue. So first, sneak, because that's what you've got to do, off to Auntie Rosie's house, but be careful that nobody spots you. Oh, and I want to highlight my fronted adverbial as well. I'm just going to get one more pen. Next, so that's my fronted adverbial, and this time I've got an adverb and I can spot it straight away because it ends in ly. Quickly. And then I've got the word hide her in the cupboard before she can escape. So I've got my fronted adverbial, adverb, imperative verb and conjunction. I'm going to do one more. I've got after that, disguise yourself in the spotty dress, brush your mane and put the hair bows in neatly. So I've got after that, disguise is our imperative verb. And we've got commas in a list here. So I've got the word and, which is a conjunction. Okay, and I have used lots of words from my word mat to help me. Okay, we've got to do one more sentence to finish off. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to just move this up very slightly if I can, so that you guys can still see it. So I've just had to cut off a little bit, but hopefully you can see the bottom. So I'm going to do one final sentence and then I'm going to say who the letter's from and we can finish it off. So for my final sentence, I'm going to do an exclamation and I'm going to do what a something plan. So I want to use a word like what a clever plan, but I don't want to use the word clever. I could use the word devious or the word cunning. What a cunning plan. The word cunning is a bit like sneaky, and I'm using my exclamation mark there as well. Now I'm just going to say who it's from because that's the end of our instructions. So I'm going to say from Miss Marsden. Okay, so I hope that this letter helps you to write your own instructions. Do use the video to help you, and make sure that you use the word mat as well, because it's got lots of really good words on it. And you can also use the Lions instructions in the book as well to edit and make better. I'm really looking forward to reading your instructions, so don't forget to post them up on Seesaw, or if you're not using Seesaw, then you can email them to me or Miss Francis, and we will be excited to read them. We're just going to do one English challenge this week to give you a bit more time, well, one writing task to give you a bit more time to focus on it, so we'd really like to see some good quality pieces. And don't forget, you can either type it onto the screen, or you can handwrite it and take a picture and send it to us that way. See you next time.